Welcome to episode 121 of Untitled iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, and Apple TV, plus related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my co-host, Warren Sklar. He's on vacation this week. He's hanging out in North Carolina, the Outer Banks, lucky guy. But I have a great returning guest here, Ms. Kelly Guimont from the Mac Observer's Daily Observations podcast. How you doing, Kelly?
I'm doing pretty well, David. 2020 aside, like everything comes with an asterisk now. But yeah, otherwise not too bad. How about you?
Yeah, we're hanging out, and you guys have been doing some podcasts lately, actually, with Chuck, and having a lot of fun.
Hi,
and,
Chuck.
Hi, Chuck. So it's been a lot of fun. And of course, gosh, we had this thing called the Apple event. Oh yeah, that thing. It was
that this week?
I thought it was. So I've probably talked about it. Let's see. I think starting Tuesday twice, and then I did it for my Apple user group yesterday, and that was a whole day of that. Plus, I squeezed in a Mac to the Future with Guy. I said, "I'll do it but you only get 30 minutes." I think that's impossible with Guy. So I just kept him on cue. I was like, "I gotta go. Let's go. So we did it like 25 minutes. It was great. I think I gotta do it. Do that to him more often.
Yeah,
keep him on track. But we love you, Guy. We're here going to talk a little bit about what happened at the event, and I got some topics here this week, including the iPhone 12, and we'll get into all kinds of fun stuff. And I actually got a new router and a mesh router from Netgear, and
I definitely need to ask a bunch of questions about this.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a good topic, and it's got an iPhone spin to it because I'll just save that and we can talk about it. So, So I got a couple news stories. We're going to dig into that, and we'll get right into the event and all that other fun stuff. The first story I have is the MagSafe is going to be compatible to iPhone accessories. Well, this one's really important. That's why I put it on here for PopSocket. Apple, this is on Mac Rumors. Apple's new iPhone 12 models will be, of course, are equipped with the MagSafe with the ring magnets in the back, so it allows you to work with the various charging accessories. And of course, the PopSocket always has been the most impossible thing to do to wireless charge with it. Until lately, they do have a disc that actually the PopSocket fits into the circle and it charges.
That does help with the wireless alignment as well. Like if you have one of those flat ones that you want to set your phone on. I want to piggyback on that story actually, because the MagSafe charging accessories available from Apple will work. They came out and announced that those will work with all of the Qi charging phones from Apple. So you don't have to have an iPhone 12 to use like the charging disc the MagSafe charger from Apple. You can use that if you have an 11 or a 10 or an 8 as well. So I thought that was kind of nifty, like that. You have more wireless charging options. We talk about that. We've talked about it a few times over at Daily Observations. Because it's so convenient. So particularly, I have found that I have older family members, and it's hard for them to get the lightning cable in all the time. And so I bought them, I bought a couple of upright stands for people in my family. And just set it here, make sure it's lined up, and just set it there, and it charges. Instead of having the flat thing, which is a little harder sometimes to line up. So set your phone here at night, or whatever, and then it's upright, so you can see it, you can charge it through the day or whatever. And that has been really convenient, and lots less surprise dead batteries, and things like that. So I personally am in love with wireless charging because I just don't like having to fool with the cable. It's just a preference to make it easier. Like, here you go, done. Yeah.
I think it's been over a year now. Yeah, it was one of my Christmas picks from on Mac Voices. It's an iHome clock radio and wireless Qi charger, and it's got a stand on it. So every night I just lean up against it. It's charging. I don't have to worry about cords. Of course, I have my Apple Watch. I got the Apple disc with the spin up, that overpriced one, but it works. It's fine. But Yeah, there's going to be amazing amounts of accessories, and we can touch upon that a little bit when we get to our topics here.
I was just excited that the charging that Apple's wireless charging line is expanding to those earlier models, because
I was surprised too.
Like looking back isn't a thing that Apple does very often, so it's nice when they do, and I want to give them props for it.
And next story was grab this off of this place called the Mac Observer. Oh yeah, that great website. This was for Andrew Order's article. Yeah, which you just spoke to this earlier today. Yes. Dolby Atmos is coming to the HomePod with Apple TV 4K. A future software update is going to bring the Dolby Atmos support with 5.1 and 7.1 channel audio to the HomePod when they're paired with the Apple TV 4K. That's exciting. And this news combines with the Dolby Atmos is absolutely great news for me as a HomePod owner, with two of them to my left here. And they'll be able to set the speakers as a permanent output for their Apple TV, which you weren't able to do as either. So I've got my Apple TV to my right here, and I think I will be able to do that, and I will be able to have some good sound. So yeah, what you think?
That's a thing that there are people who like I always want the sound from my Apple TV to come out of my HomePods, and I don't have any HomePods. I've talked about that before, but the level of convincing that is apparently needed for that to continue to happen on a regular basis is surprising to me. As a couple of devices that should just work really well together. Like this is very much like until very recently, this is not a chocolate peanut butter moment apparently, and I just I had a really hard time wrapping my head around that. Brian Chaffin is one of the people I know specifically who has bumped up against this, who is very excited that this is what's coming. And also
I am too. I mean, it's great.
Retroactively, I didn't realize that was your setup until like Tuesday when we talked about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting to me about that is that Brian had also mentioned that that's probably why the operating system update didn't come out for the HomePods when it came out.
Now I'm realizing
they had all these other things to add that they couldn't really talk about until we had the Mini to sort of talk about along with them. So that makes more sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So and then the next story, this was just along the lines of the iPad Air, because everybody's been waiting patiently to be able to buy the iPad Air. The pre-orders at Walmart, this is on iDownload blog, are out for the new iPad Air, and they're saying they're going to ship on October 23rd. They're selling a rose. The website has a picture of a rose gold 64 gig Wi-Fi for $559. They even discounted it $50, which is pretty impressive.
I've heard that referred to as Bros Gold, which I think is really funny. Yeah, because there were guys that wanted it and didn't want it to be rose gold, and so I have a friend that was like, yeah, I know a bunch of guys who wanted one but didn't want to admit they had a pink phone, so it became Bros Gold instead. Yeah. Like, that's very clever. I like that. I did notice there's not that shade in the new phones, but we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, there isn't. So
there are so many colors of things from Apple right now. I noticed that this week. Yeah.
It's actually crazy. Let's move on to the topics here, because we'll have plenty to talk about here. And beta this week, and you've always talked about this before. You don't dabble in beta that much, that if I recall. But
yes, I when I have beta to do, I adhere to what I like to call the Star Trek rule of betas, which is only install the even numbers. Don't bother with the odd numbers; they're not worth your time.
By the way, you mentioned Star Trek Discovery. I just watched the first episode.
Oh, I know it's back. I have a little bit of season 2 to watch yet, so I keep meaning to get around to it, and everything else in the world just keeps getting in the way of my usual TV watching. I'm excited.
You'll be ready. It was good. I as soon as I saw it came up, I said I better sign back up to my CBS All Access. I had shut it off, so they gave me a free month, so I get to watch at least 2 episodes, or every week, so 4 episodes.
Yeah, you should get 4 out of that.
Yeah. So, but I'm a sucker. I'll keep it. I love that show. Anyway, that's a different topic. I get off on tangents too here.
I know.
So beta this week. It was really interesting actually with iOS 14.1. All of a sudden got released, and I'm like, okay, it's not. I still have 14.0.1. Of course, I don't put it on my primary iPhone, but so Apple inadvertently released 14.1 and said they didn't give any information of what was going to be on, and then they like immediately pulled it. And then I went into my developer account and looked, and it's a golden master. So what they did was they kind of released it, then pulled it back, and then gave it to the developers to look at. So I think what happened was it's iOS. It's iOS. It's for the iPhone 12. So they were probably going to release it because 14.01 is out right now. And then when iPhone 12 hits the streets this Friday, tomorrow as we record this, or our pre-order anyway, this will be on the iPhone 12 as a start. So a little confusing. As you said, 2020 been one of these most perplexing years.
Yeah, and
it doesn't have to do with iOS.
Like the ordering of the new phones too.
Yeah.
Right. So tomorrow we get the middle two, and then in 2 weeks we get the outer two, because tomorrow we get the 12 and the 12 Pro, and then 2 weeks from tomorrow we get the Mini and the Pro Max. Yep. So more perplexion in
a lot of perplexion here
with what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but yeah.
But and then also 14.2 is in beta 3 right now, which I do have in my 10R, as I do have a device to beta test with, and that's where it goes, and my demos and all that fun stuff. And the big thing that stood out with the 14.2 is they integrated Shazam into the OS now.
Oh, and who sings that song, or who is this?
Yeah,
when you ask,
which Apple bought many other years ago. So, but we got the links in the show notes to both of those. As far as I got them, I actually got unique articles. Not a source we used to too often. Go to bemobile.com, and 5 things to know about both the iOS 14.1 update and the iPadOS 14.1 update. So check that out. All right, let's go right into it. Topics. We're already in topics, but let's move on to the HomePod. HomePod Mini. We had a great discussion, and I wanted to kind of piggyback onto that from Mac Voices. Great announcement. I was real super stoked, and I know you were as well. $99. What an amazing price on that. And it sounded like you're gonna buy one, or you're that's right. You were hoping that your birthday you were going to be getting it. That's what I remember.
Well, I will be getting one for my birthday. It's just a question of who it's going to come from. My mom will usually send me money on my birthday, and I've already put it to my financial manager, aka Mr. Kelly.
Mr. Kelly.
I'm getting one for my birthday because they ship on my birthday. So really what I need to know is, are you going to order it, or do I need to order it? And, either way, I'll act surprised. I just need to know, like, what's the deal here? So I don't do that very often, but giving him the opportunity to not have to shop for my birthday and give me exactly what I want for my birthday feels like a no-brainer. So I'm sort of hoping that maybe he'll go with that. So we'll see what happens. But yes, I will be getting one. And, it wasn't really until we sat and chatted about it on Tuesday evening that I was able to crystallize my pitch for this, which is...
I'll have to tell you about it.
It's what?
I'll have to tell you about it when you're done. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. So it's that I want the privacy of it. I want the A lady to stop listening to me. I don't have Google Home. I mean, I know at least that much better. But I know it's been some years now, because it was at least 2 or 3 years before HomeKit was anything really. Mr. Kelly is flipping through like the flyers that come in the mailbox, on Tuesday, and like there's a Best Buy flyer in there, and the Best Buy flyer has an Echo base that was like $100 off or something. It was one of the original like tall cylinder ones, and
I have one.
So he looks at that and he was like, do you know anything about this? I'm like, yeah, it has an assistant like the one in your phone, and it's supposed to let you boss stuff around, and apparently like you can buy junk off of Amazon with it. So he looked at me square in the eye and went, is Apple gonna make one of these? And I said, I have absolutely no indication of that at this point. There aren't even rumors. Like before we even got the rumors of like, the Siri remote on the Apple TV. Like I said, this is like, 5-6 years ago. And he goes, is Apple ever going to make one of these? And I said, right now, like nobody's even pretending that Apple's going to be in this game. And he goes, well, Best Buy has a pretty good return policy. We'll see. Yeah. So he came home with one after work the next day, and there it sits right out there, on the end of the bar. Well,
I immerse myself in all of them. So I have, let's see, I have that's exact one you just described in my bathroom. I have that exact one downstairs in the living room, and I got dots everywhere. And then, and then I have a Google Hub sitting right in front of me here that I love it because it's got a little tiny screen. And I asked the G lady, and I can send video from my computer right to it if I just want to watch like a show or something while I'm working on something on my computer here. And I have that. I have a Google Hub, or I have a Google, whatever they call the dot or whatever it is, but it's still sitting in the box. I didn't even open it, so because I ended up getting it for free. So, but I've been very immersed in all of the assistants, and then of course I've got both HomePods here, and then I've got my Sonos Move, which of course, as I've been telling on many episodes, that I got that as a great anniversary gift for work. That has Amazon built into it as well, so that's just awesome. Turn it on. Yeah, so that's got not only a music player and portable and bringing it everywhere. It's an amazing device. It's just expensive. I definitely, it's nice that it was free. I could tell you that.
Yeah. There's a lot of tech that's like that. Like, you handed me one and I do love it, but I wouldn't have justified it myself. Yeah. Yeah.
Sonos is expensive. So our birthdays are very close to each other. Mine is on the 10th, and I think yours is on the 16th, right?
The 16th, yes.
Yeah. So pre-orders is November 6th. I said, honey, I know what you want to get me for my birthday. I said, what do you need it for? You already got the HomePods. I said, well, I think it'd be great downstairs, or we'd have it in a place where we can try it out, and just pre-order for me, and we'll just make sure you get it as your birthday gift. That's what she said to me. So I'll just pre-order on the 6th. I mean, come on, it's $100. I mean, and it's a lot of money, but I gotta have it just to feel it and see it and see what it does. And I'm not expecting anything when I got here. So
I most of what I want out of it is what I had hoped I would get from the Echo Base that I don't have, which is a nice speaker. Like the one that's in the Echo Base is not great, and I know it's not called an Echo Base. I know it's just called an Echo, but Echo Base is an easy way for me to. Echo Base is an easy way for me to make a Star Wars reference, and that's what it is. So it's Echo Base.
It's all good.
And so, like, it's not as nice a speaker as I wanted. And so, I know it'll play Apple Music. I know it'll do the things that I want to do with it now, but it doesn't it doesn't sound as good as I want it to. Like, primarily where I want it is on the middle level of my house. I have a three level house because I have a split level. And so, in the middle, like where the kitchen is and stuff, I would like to be able to play music or read a book. I have Audible. I'd like to be able to listen to books, or listen to music, and I want it to sound good. And like connecting my phone to the speaker in the Echo was always shenanigans. I tried to do that with Apple Music before Apple Music was an option built in, and it sucked. Like is the best I can say about it. And, then it wouldn't disconnect. And so then, like I'm taking a phone call and it's getting answered on a speaker on another level of the house. Was terrible. So really what I want from it is just a nicer user experience. I feel like this is going to be a thing like AirPods, where the most exciting thing about it is the most boring thing about it, which is I put them in and they connect to the right thing. And then I listen and it's great. Like, it does exactly the thing that it's supposed to do when it's supposed to do it, which shouldn't be exciting, but is very exciting considering how much stuff gets everything wrong. So that's part of what I'm looking forward to with it, is just having it be a really smooth experience in that way.
Yep, I think everybody's going to love them. It's going to have the smart technology, U1 chip that'll sync with your iPhone, so it'll be much smarter. You actually can walk up to it, and the iPhone will see that you're near it. I'm hoping they bring some of that technology, because it sounds like now with the Dolby Atmos we just talked about on the HomePod, I mean, you would think, and the intercom is going to have to come to the HomePod too. There's no question about it. It'd be crazy. People have these.
I think they've announced.
Yeah, it was in a presentation that I had from our Apple sales information we get for Apple user group.
Oh, okay.
So it definitely is going to be there.
I know I heard that from someplace reasonably reliable, and I've had so much information in the last 4 days.
Same here.
Yeah.
So the intercom's going to be big. Yeah.
I'm very curious about intercom for a bunch of reasons, but partly because I know that the Echoes have that, and I don't like it.
But they're not private. I mean.
That's the biggest piece of it.
I'll give you a good case in point. I took one of my other Echoes and put it at our home up north of us here, my wife's family's home, and I put it up there, installed it, and then of course I changed the address so that when they use it, it's going to say the town it's in, and when they check for the weather. But you also can you can do the thing where you can do an intercom and you can turn it on and listen. So I turned off all the privacy on that thing because I don't want that to I don't want them to think like I can spy on you. Kind of crazy. So that's the first thing you do I did that on all the Amazon on the Amazon Echoes is turn all that off because you just don't want it to happen. So but anyway, check out the HomePod that's coming out there. We're going to pre-order those. Those aren't being pre-ordered until November 6th, like we said. Then they ship the
16th.
The 16th, and so I'll have it. We'll both have it for our birthdays.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get a chance to play with it because I don't have a HomePod already. So
yeah, it's gonna be fun. I hope the software gets released sooner, so I can start playing with it on the HomePods. And wait, so
that'll be fun.
That's HomePod. So let's talk about the iPhone. There's just so much to talk about on the iPhone. I put a link in the show notes. Mac Rumors, this is an amazing article. They put together a size comparison for all iPhone models that are currently out there, as well as older ones, and kind of comparing. And it's interesting to see this. They got going from the iPhone SE all the way up to the 12 Pro Max. And just seeing the sizes, the SE, everybody just loved that phone, the first generation, because it just was so small and people like them. I have a friend of mine, a guy that really loves it. He doesn't want to switch, and his one broke and he found another one. I'm like, you're lucky. I says they aren't going to make that much longer. But if you look at the picture on the Mac Rumor site, you look at comparison to the 12 Mini, it's not too terribly much bigger if you look at it in the picture. But then they compare it across the line there.
Bezel seems to be like a bezel smaller than like the iPhone 7 or 8, which also the 6 would be in that. Right. The 6, 7, and 8 are all pretty much the same size. So the Mini is going to be right in there. I think it's interesting that they came out with the smaller one.
It really was. Yeah. So
I also loved how they did it. I know there were people who rolled their eyes at it, but I thought it was very funny. So
no, because this really shows it, because people wanted a smaller phone, but they did it. It's not as small as the old SE, but at least it's a good, decent size. And it's great. It spans across all the models. Like the current SE, the second gen is the same basically as the iPhone 7 and 8. And then you got the 10, the 10s, and the 11 Pro were very similar. Then you bring it right up to the 11, the 12, and the 12 Pro, which are not just a smidge bigger than the 10 looks like. And then the 10R, which, I was very surprised they kept the 10R, but the 10R is a very popular model, and they're still going to continue to sell it. And then, of course, you put it right in the middle there, the 11 Pro Max, the 10S Max, and the 7. And then that I look at that one right there. I owned every single one of those at one point, including the 11 Pro, which I already own now. And the big boy, which I'm going to go with, is the 12 Pro Max, which is, I was in awe. I was like, oh my God, this is probably going to be the best iPhone I ever had. Just with all the amazing features that it has with the LiDAR and being able to shoot LARs. The camera is just going to be phenomenal. 65 millimeter telephoto. I mean, gosh, just think of that for itself.
Yeah. Here's the biggest thing about it to me as a person who used to upgrade every 2 years for the new camera. Because it's not because I fancy myself as a photographer or anything like that. I know every once in a while I get a pretty good picture, or I do something nifty with a video or whatever. But I do use it occasionally. Like I've done a couple videos over at Mac Observer, and I've done some other things. And like my go-to device for that is my phone. And the thing about the 11 Pro is that a year later, because I've had it about a year now, and the thing about the 11 Pro is I still cannot get over the camera. Yeah. It's still so exceptional in low light,
amazing.
Night mode, whatever. Like picked up the wrong iPhone. I spend so much time with these lenses. Well, my work phone is also an iPhone, so I have an 11 and an 11 Pro right now. But like, I love so much the pictures that I get out of these lenses, and being able to take the photo that I want and have it look like what I see is the biggest part of that. Like, I can't, if it's getting kind of dark outside and I want a picture of my backyard with the landscape lights on, I can take that picture, and what I see is what the image picks up. I almost said what the film picks up. What the image picks up. I can see what that ends up being like in that moment. I can tell like those match. And that's the first time I ever had that. And so I'm sad that I didn't get as much of a chance to put it through its paces as I want to. I mentioned just on TDO this morning when we were talking about the camera updates and the new phones that there's pictures I like to take with each phone as I get them and get to go, other places and do things. And some of those are getting to take photos on rides at Disneyland with no flash. Like, how much light am I actually getting in if I really want to test a low light photo, Disneyland is where I like to do that. And I don't get a chance to do that this time. So there's a few other things like locally that I will be taking pictures of. But yeah, like I still, going and getting pictures of Christmas lights at night and having it come out and not be a terrible picture is just phenomenal. Still mind blowing. Yeah. Yeah,
it is. So the 12 itself, I mean, just amazing what they released on the features. I mean, again, I'm going to go all out, go on the 12 Pro Max. You've got the LiDAR, you got Apple Pro RAW. I mean, if you're a really serious photographer, you want to be able to have some abilities to shoot RAW. You can now on an iPhone, which is just still blows my mind. And being able to edit it on the iPhone using the Photos app on the iPhone. And then you have the Smart HDR 3 that was added for photos as well. Then you got the 4K HDR video with Dolby Vision. I mean, holy cow! 10-bit, yeah, and 10-bit. Yeah. So you have, I mean, I made comments to this on other shows. I said that this could seriously be almost your primary camera. It really could be. I mean,
it absolutely could be.
We talked to Frederick Van Johnson about that.
Now, yeah, it could be. Yeah.
And we talked about that with I put that question out to Frederick Van Johnson from This Week in Photo, who's been on the show before, and he seems still a little skeptical. He's a photographer, so he's pretty hardcore. So I think his DSLRs and his micro four thirds cameras, those are his babies. But hoping once we get in our hands, he's going to be on the show. I'm gonna really to have a good chat with him and see what his thoughts are going to be with this camera once he has it. So
I really want to see the thing about it. And this was the thing we kind of touched on Tuesday, talking to Frederick, was how this can democratize creativity, because there's so like both the photo capabilities and the video capabilities, because there's, people can use the tools that are available to them, in order to do the thing they want to do, whether it's, record a song or make a movie or, take, a photo essay and take a series of images that tell some particular story or whatever. Like when you have what is essentially pro level gear, you've got enough megapixels, you've got enough data, you've got enough data in the photo to really be able to do something with, because it's raw. You've got the LiDAR to make the low light of it really stand out. Like when you can do that sort of stuff and it's pro level, that's the kind of stuff that Apple has been doing on the Mac with audio advances. Like if you can get your hands on a Mac, you can make a record, and you can make a record that goes out into the world just like a real record, right? I think this was the example I used on Tuesday, is that Billie Eilish made a record and the microphone she used is the one I have in my backpack as my travel microphone. So we like having those tools available. I'm really excited to see what the young people will do once they can get a hold of these and do, and tell a story and figure it out, and don't have the parameters or the hangups about I'm just doing this with a phone. Like, I have this tool in front of me that I can use to make a movie. I'm going to go make a movie, and I can't wait to see what comes out of that. Yeah.
Yep. So closing again, as I've said a bunch of times here now, everybody knows which phone I'm getting. I'm waiting because I can't order it today or tomorrow. It's the 12 Pro Max is going to be my baby, and I'm trading in my 11 Pro Max, and she served me good.
What color?
I'm going with the Pacific Blue, and if I remember correctly, you like that color too.
It's my favorite. If I was getting a phone, that's what I would be getting, is the Pacific Blue.
So you are not going to upgrade. You're sticking with the 11, right? Or are you upgrading?
I am upgrading.
You are upgrading. Okay.
I wasn't, and the situation.
That's why I thought I heard this morning. That's why I heard this. This when I listened to your show. I thought you said that. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, the situation has changed. I've just spent so long talking myself out of whatever the 12 is going to be. I just am used to it now. Because of the square sides. Like, I would have sat on my 8 for another year if I had known that this was coming, and that, given the option, I'm glad I didn't. And I'm glad that I will be able to go to the 12 Pro. I will be getting a 12 Pro, also Pacific Blue, 256 gig.
256. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah.
That's what I have on my 11 Pro Max.
I'm excited about it. I'm a little sad that Boba Fett green is not an option.
Yeah, because that's what we said. That's what I have here too. I have the midnight green here too.
Yeah, it's a really pretty color. And reminding me of Boba Fett doesn't hurt at all. But I'm now I'm looking at obviously I'm going to need a clear case because the blue is going to be really pretty. And
that's what I got. I got this at CES, so I'm going to stick with this. This is the
do I need the Apple one, because we've got a whole MagSafe situation to address?
Looks kind of cool.
So I love MagSafe so much.
Good segue to that, because that's what we're talking about next. But so you're getting the iPhone 12 Pro. You'll get you'll get to pre-order that tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so but you 5 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, it's gonna be there. I'm sorry, West Coasters. Yeah, they're doing 5 p.m. Pacific, 5 a.m. Excuse me. It'd be nice to be 5 p.m. 5 a.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. Eastern. I'm in Central, so it'd be 7 a.m. Central. Mm-hmm. So, and then I'm gonna wait 2 weeks, and then I'm gonna pre-order my
Pro Max.
12 Pro Max. Apple had already started sending the emails because I'm part of the Apple upgrade program, saying you can do this in pre-order, get it all done and ready to go. So let's hope they do the same thing again in 2 weeks, which I think they will. I'll be I've been doing this for years. How am I not approved? I mean, but
you and John Martellero is also
John. I heard he wants the Pro Max too. So
he's always a big phone dude. Yeah. Or as Andrew called it, and I think Andrew's going to keep calling it this, the iPad Mini.
The Mini
is the 12 Pro Max.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, good segue to MagSafe and MagSafe charging. Apple had a big graphic showing how the magnet is actually installed in the back of the iPhone. I think it's really slick. They've got that magnet built into it. It's so cool. I'm curious to see. Could you stick it on your refrigerator if you have a metal refrigerator? Could it stick to the back there? I'm wondering if it's going to be an actual magnetic way of sticking places. I don't think it will be, but the case is.
I'm going to be a person who tries that. So just
I am too.
We will have a determination for your.
It does have flat surface, so I would
immediately on shipping. I will absolutely be like, let's see what happens. Can I stick it to stuff?
Hey, I can leave this up there. I can watch things. So Apple is going to be selling the MagSafe plug, the little disc that you can tap right to it and charge it. There's going to be tons of third-party devices out there with it.
That was the most interesting thing to me is they said MagSafe and third-party in the same sentence without a no in the middle, and I couldn't.
They talked about it. And they showed a device that would charge both the watch and the Apple Watch and the iPhone that may be theirs. I think it is theirs that they're going to be selling at some point.
It seems like that one was there's the little fold
Air Power Pad is finally here, I guess.
Yeah, more or less. It looks nifty. That little like fold it up and take it with you situation looks really cool. Because I've converted to wireless already for the most part. I also have one of those upright stands. I have one here on my desk, which I should show you later because it's amazing. It does my AirPods and my watch at the same time. It's super compact and cool.
Maybe we should get a link in the show notes for that one.
I'll put one up. But on my nightstand, because my phone is my alarm clock, I have an upright stand. So I'm in the habit already of sort of setting it there and like, sort of trying to live that lightning cable-less lifestyle. And I really like it. I'm very, very happy with the wireless of it. So having the MagSafe stuff be even more widely available, I think is going to be awesome. I'm super duper looking forward to it. And
then speaking of power, the whole big thing of more power adapters in the box, which is fine. I think I'm fine with it. And no more earphones either. They'll no longer have those either.
That was surprising to me. Although they did get cheaper.
Now, one thing I did read this morning or this afternoon is that in France they have to come with it because it's a law that there has to be there has to be earphones, so they're going to have it. But yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, I can look at my box right now. I see the box filled with all those earphones I have never used. But the power adapter won't be there, but they will have a Lightning to USB-C cable in the box. Which yes, that's great because that's fast charging, but does everybody have a USB-C adapter? Probably not.
Right. And that was the only thing that surprised me about the move was I figured it'd be another year of an A cable because everybody's got an A charger at home. Right. So not everybody has a C and not everybody plugs it into their laptop. And that's where most people's USB-C ports are right now is I bought a MacBook between 2017 and now in some whatever value of MacBook it is we're talking about. MacBook Air, MacBook Pro. It has USB-C ports. And most people don't think about plugging it into their computer anymore because you have iCloud backup and, streaming music and all that kind of stuff. So not everybody is copying stuff to their phone by hand on their computer like me. I think I might be the actual last person who's doing that, but I do. So that I thought that was an interesting move, mostly because they took away the charger. I still think that if you buy something from Apple that comes with a wall charger, that wall charger should have 2 ports. I don't think everything should come with a wall charger, but like if you buy an iPad or a MacBook, I think it should definitely be a 2-port charging situation so that at least it's efficient. That's been my complaint about them all along is, it's been long enough. Do you not understand that if I have a laptop, I probably have another one of your things too, and you should let me plug that into the same wall charger? But apparently not.
Yeah. Well, speaking of chargers, I know you had one that you recommended. I put one here in the show notes. This is from Aki. It's a Omnia it's USB-C charger. It's 100 watts, and it's got the GA. Is that the one I got? Okay, so did I get it right? Yeah. And $40. My God, that's a steal. Oh, plus there's a $8 coupon, so it's actually $31. No, I'm looking at this.
I have it plugged into another outlet in the house, but it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's fast charging, and they said it takes an hour and a half on an 11 Pro, 1.7 hours on an iPad Pro 11, and then a little under 2 hours on a MacBook Pro 16-inch. So
16-inch MacBook Pro, and this thing, by the way, is a teeny bit bigger than AirPods. Than an AirPods case, not AirPods Pro, regular AirPods. It's a little
comparing
thicker
that to the adapter
and a little wider on the one side. Yeah,
I mean, giant brick.
Yeah, and you can also find those that have like that one I think just has the one USB-C port, but you can sometimes find them. Yeah, you can find them that like also have an A port on them. And that's I have one of those that's 100 watt that I have that lives in my backpack for like if I need to charge something, like I've got it under control. Like everybody makes them now with prongs that fold up so you don't have to worry about damaging any other stuff in your bag or having your power adapter damaged. and it's just so convenient and it's so fast. It's the gallium nitride. When you see a capital G, lowercase n, uppercase, or capital G, lowercase a, uppercase n charger, gallium nitride is what they're using to do that charging instead of silicon. And it's really fast and it's really efficient and it's really cool. And I don't mean awesome. I mean, it is awesome, but it is not warm. Your brick doesn't get hot and your device doesn't get hot when you charge it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to buy one
super
of those.
fast. I love it.
I'm going to buy one of those. Just abandon the old one that came with the Mac. But of course, I've got it. Of course, right away when I bought my MacBook Pro, I bought a second one from Apple, so I've got two. But,
well, yeah, because there wasn't a lot out at that point.
No, there wasn't. And mine's a 2019, so
yeah, that's only this year. I think that the gallium nitride stuff has gotten a little bit more approachable. Like it's more common and more brands are making their own version of it. So yeah, if Aki isn't it, Anker makes one, Rav Power makes one. I know there's at least another Asus or whatever it is. Yeah, there's a stack. And I will have some in-depth information about that actually over at Mac Observer very soon.
Good. I look forward to seeing that. And then I wanted to touch just a little bit. I don't want to go deep into this discussion because it can't go very deep. Is 5G. Apple made such a huge deal out of that, and of course, and
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And then and of course they social distance. The CEO of Verizon came on stage, and they did their how you doing and
hi from way over here,
way over there. And Verizon announced that they're going to release it nationwide. Well, it isn't available everywhere. I mean, I'm in one of the three big cities, Chicago. So it is here, but it's still not 100% from what they're saying. I'm going to be interested to see once I get my 12 with the 5G to see how it goes. I'm almost positive T-Mobile is going to include it in my plan, so I don't think I have to worry about that. But I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the differences in bands. You have the MM wave band, and then you have the sub 6 band. The MM wave is supposed to be really fast, super fast, 10 times faster than normal speed. You can get like 1.5. They were saying gigabyte speeds, but you're going to be standing right in front of the tower basically, and it doesn't go very far. And until they get a mass amount of those towers around here, you're not going to get those speeds. But then you have the other technology that is out there called sub 6, and that one it does travel farther, but isn't going to be as fast. But again, we're in the same boat here. Both these technologies, they're putting these towers around everywhere, but they got a long way to go yet before this is going to be of any need.
Anybody.
To matter to anybody, exactly. So I didn't understand it. I don't know what you thought.
I understand what it is, and I understand how it works. I don't understand why Apple spent that much time trying to sell it to me, because they even showed us it's not there now. Like basically nobody has it, and the people who do have it, you have to hang out directly under the tower. Like if you're any further away than you would be from a Bluetooth speaker, in order for it to continue to work, that's how far you have to be from the transmission point. And that's just not reality for basically everybody. Like at this point, it's a rounding error, the number of people who have reliable access to actual 5G and not just the little thing on the top of your phone that tells you it's 5G if you're an AT&T user. So 5G E.
Which is not really 5G.
It's not.
Fraud.
So that's I still don't get how they get away with getting to tell me that it's 5G, but anyway, that's a separate conversation. But I didn't get why so much presentation was devoted to that. I understand they want to communicate that it's a big deal, but they've also I remember them talking about 4G at some of the events, and it was the cell service you have now, it's going to do that, but it's going to be but it's going to be faster than that, which is great. Let's show you the phones it's on. It wasn't a whole thing this.
There were no phones. Now that Apple has it, that's the big deal, because Apple iPhone, that's the big phone out there. So and Verizon spouting out 1300 megabit speeds. Again, you got to be right next to that tower before you even get close to that. But
what's frustrating? Under a cell tower.
Yeah, exactly. Joanna Stern, I'm quoting a lot of stuff from her for her video. She's a great tech columnist.
She's amazing.
She's very amazing. I really like her. I follow her on Twitter, and Joanna Stern, Wall Street Journal, really, really great. She had some big shoes to fill with Walt. So she did this great, amazing video. She was in an RV for a day with all her technology and testing 5G. And the 5G she was using 5G hotspots the whole time to connect to them. So she basically said she was in Jersey City, New Jersey. Her home internet's like 100 megabit. I was like, really? I have a gig here at my house, but then she went to 5G. She's getting 1,500, 2,000 megabit speeds sitting in front of the tower. She just wanted to prove that she could connect multiple devices using a hotspot. It started to tax a little bit when she had laptops and iPads and mobile phones and all that. So it's a great article. I didn't put it in the show notes, but check it out. Sometimes it's not free because they're on a paywall. So but I think they open up some of the videos. But yeah, check it out. It was that's what kind of intrigued me when I watched that video. I was like, I want to talk just a little bit about 5G because she spoke about it in English. You don't have to get real technical about it to really understand it. So anyway, so that basically is all we had with the iPhone and the HomePod. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on one, and I'll be hearing about it in all of our shows here. So stay tuned for that. So then next topic I want to talk about is I had discovered the other day that my router at home was giving me some fits here. I had a Netgear Nighthawk X6, which has got the 6 antennas, and it was working good for what I need for. Then all of a sudden I realized that the speed's too slow because I pay for gigabit internet here. So I know, I'm spoiled. That is a lot of speed. A lot of people, people listening probably don't have that option, but hey, if I can get it, I got it. So it wasn't doing so well. It wasn't behaving. And I had been thinking about going with a mesh network. And, these mesh network routers systems can be pretty expensive, especially like Eero and the Orbi. And you're spending like $300, $400, $500, $600, even more. Because, Wi-Fi 6 now is the standard for that's coming out.
Which is great. And I'm glad that they've jumped on that because it's going to just make everything easier going forward, especially when apparently there are people in the world who put Wi-Fi in their house who don't want to be network administrators all the time.
Exactly.
I don't know who those people are because I ended up being a network administrator at my house.
I'm the network administrator in my house, of course. So
I don't, and I don't want to be, but I don't have an option not to. Exactly. So I've been very curious about these for the set it and forget it kind of piece of things.
And that's the reason why I brought this up, because putting that iPhone spin to it, because I went with the Netgear mesh kit from Netgear. Okay. It's Wi-Fi 6. It's got the router plus 2 satellites, so you get 3 in the box here, which is great. And $199 at Costco. I mean, that was like a steal. As long as you're a Costco member, when I went to the store, I actually went to the store, and a few times I had been going to the store lately. They ended up having 2 routers next to each other. They had a standard Netgear. They're both Netgear. The standard Netgear with, I think it had the 3 antennas or 4 antennas, whatever it had. And then it said no more than 25 devices. I'm like, why would you want a router that limits you to 25 devices? I mean, I guess normal people may only use it for like 3 or 4 devices, but I said, this doesn't make sense. And they've got them right next to each other, and it's like, and the same price. I'm like, okay, well, duh. I'd rather go with the mesh because mesh is going to give me much more distance, 4,500 feet across the house. You got 2 other satellites, and I put them up, and so I put the routers in here in my office, and then I've got one downstairs on the first level. My house is is like a tri-level like yours, and then down in our basement or living room area, I got one down there, and that's where my home theater is. So, but I was just thoroughly amazed about how the Nighthawk app that downloads on the iPhone, how easy it was to set it up. I mean, just it found it. I connected to the network, and I did my thing. I did everything from the app on the iPhone, and I had it set up within probably 10 or 15 minutes. And the great thing is I kept the same name of my Wi-Fi network, so then as soon as it came back online, everything connected beautifully. I didn't have to go in and start connecting all my smart devices and my smart devices I kind of had to because they, especially I had some old Guimont ones that I just pulled out because they were on the 2.4 gigahertz network. But the great thing about this router though is the Nighthawk, the one I had, separates the bands 5 gig and 2.4. They've put this all in one on this Netgear mesh one, so both will connect, and all the devices connected nicely. And
is this the 3 little black box?
Yep, I put the link in the show notes. But yeah, those are the 3 little black boxes.
Just the other night, Mr. Kelly was at Costco and sent me this picture, and so I'm wondering if that's the thing. And I'm like, hey.
As you said, you wanted to ask me questions, and now you've got something firsthand that actually bought it. Yeah,
because we've got them here. That was next to the Orbi, apparently, because he sent me the Nighthawk setup and then the Orbi setup, and the Orbi setup is literally twice as much money.
I had an Orbi, I returned it. I just wasn't happy with it. Yeah. I didn't think it was worth the money. It really wasn't. So
I don't know anyone who kept it. I don't think.
Yeah.
Everybody I know went with something else, whether it was Eero or the Netgear, the other Netgear setup, or what.
I mean, I just for the cost, I just didn't feel the need for me to spend a ton of dough. I mean, the Eeros are coming out, the Wi-Fi 6, but they're going to start at like $599. I mean, I just can't justify that. And I know, I mean, Netgear has been, and knock on wood, has been a really good quality. It's been working well for me. So, and
that's
I've
awesome.
been happy with it. And of course, I had the Apple before. We all had the Apple.
Yeah.
I still have my my time capsule down there.
We had Netgear routers for a while, and then we had one that just literally tipped over one day, upped and quit. Sorry to get technical, but it just refused anymore to serve up any bandwidth anymore, and like looked at Wirecutter and a couple of other places and found out like this isn't the bestest one, but I can have Best Buy get it ready for me in an hour, so I'm gonna get that one.
Yep.
So we have an Asus router now.
Asus, I had an Asus.
The Dark Knight was the name of it, and I was like, well, we should get that one. So we did, and it's worked pretty well. The only issue I have is there's parts of our backyard, because we have a vast backyard, and there's parts of the backyard where the Wi-Fi is a little rough. But otherwise it's not it. Otherwise, like, it serves really well, but I have a nice house layout. My house was built in the 70s, so I don't have like lead pipes anywhere, and I don't have, concrete walls or any of that. Mm-hmm. And my house has like this hollow center up the middle. So it makes it very easy to like wire stuff. So like running Ethernet to the rooms upstairs just to make sure we had Ethernet cables everywhere, was a piece of cake. And laying all that stuff out ahead of time, it was very easy. So I don't really have trouble in the house. It's just if I want to do some things outside. So I've been toying with a new network in some fashion, whether it's go with something mesh or, get another AP that, lives out on the patio or something, just to make sure the Wi-Fi, the yard is covered, and, see how that goes. So
maybe I've inspired you now, man, that you have firsthand account of this. I mean, you know what? Honestly, I saw it at CES when I was at Consumer Electronics Show in January.
Ooh.
So when I was at the Netgear booth, they were there and they look really slick. And so that was kind of got my eye about it. But then I just like, Then you start reading some of these people complaining about it with the reviews, and then you don't even trust that stuff half the time because who knows. Yeah. And you figure probably most of the people just don't know how to set up a network.
And see, if I saw it at CES and then I saw it in the world, I would be compelled to buy it because that never happened.
That's what compelled me to buy it. So I mean, but I held out. I held out. But no, I'm already seeing some, knock on wood, some really good speeds in the house. So I'm happy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So and we're gonna wrap one thing up here. I had one tip. I had a great time at my iPhone SIG last night, and I went through it was pretty much a tips extravaganza, all kinds of stuff with iOS 14 because there's just so much. I really want to spend some time, and we definitely got to get talking about widgets, and that's huge, and working with shortcuts more with that. But my tip here is actually through Safari. Safari's actually got this built in. I'll show this on camera so you can see it. This is a website that's on the phone here. This is, and of course I'll just have to describe it. This is Le Monde. This is a French newspaper website, and of course it's in French right now. Okay, so at the very top, you got the two A's at that bar there when you tap up there. So then you have the a choice up there, and it says translate website. So if you tap that, and I'm gonna tap away from it, what does it do? First off, you can tell it what if you want to change it to a different language. You can install languages. So if you want to have, like, let's say Spanish and French all pre-installed on the iPhone, you can have all those multiple languages in there. So you could actually go and translate something that's in English to French or Spanish or whatever just by using this translate.
Shut the front door.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap English. So what it'll do is it's just amazing. Yeah, I know it's hard to see, but it translated everything in English now. So all those words are now that's a French website. And then you can do the same thing back. I don't know if you can see that icon up there. That's a translate.
Oh, yeah.
So this is kind of what the Translate app. It's part of that package because the Translate app was built in now with iOS 14. But now it's built into Safari.
The other day.
Yeah.
I got a voicemail at work that was in Spanish.
Cool.
And I went, I don't know if I know enough Spanish to be able to decode this message. And I went, oh, wait, I don't, but my phone does. And I played it to my phone, and it got a little staticky in the middle. So my phone wasn't much help with that part because I couldn't pick it out either and go, I think it's this word. Let me just tell you what that word is and see. But it got like more than 50% of the message. And I'm pretty sure, like, based on the amount of Spanish that I know, the part it was correct. So I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, no, it's pretty amazing, and it just converts it. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it just.
And so then you just tap it back, and then you can just go back to view original, and it'll switch right back the way it was. So
that's amazing.
Got a little extra time here. I want to also talk about privacy controls. If you tap that exact same two A's that's in the bar there, you can actually go at the very bottom there. It's going to give you a list there. It says privacy report. Now, in this case, this site, lemode.fr, it says 21 trackers were prevented. And that's what's built into Safari now. This also is now built into Safari 14. That's going to be on Big Sur coming up pretty soon here. I'm not sure if it's on Safari for Catalina. I don't. I probably could
let me find out.
I can probably go open it and look here real quick. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is. I think. Let me see. Let's go to CNN. That's the most notorious of trackers.
They'll have a lot of trackers.
Yeah, it's got the little shield there. It tells you how many.
Yeah, I see the shield on my.
So
Safari,
it does exactly the same thing on the Mac, but the great thing about it on here is it just tells you right away that Safari had prevented trackers from following you across websites, and you can show more and get more details. Trackers preventing you from profiling you, that's frightening. 116.
Yeah.
Wow. And of course, the dreaded doubleclick.net, the notorious site that just tracks everything. And then it gives you little bar graphs of that particular current website plus other websites you had visited to tell you how many sites are in there. So I think it's just a fascinating little way, and it protects you too. Although Apple did open it up now to iOS 14, so you can change your default browser. I don't know if you'd really want to, because Safari still is offering a lot of stuff. But I will mention how to do that. If you so want to change your browser, so on this iPhone, what I did is I installed Edge, Firefox, I got Brave, and a number of others. You actually can go in under settings, and then you can go into, just go into settings and go to Safari. It has a choice there. It says default browser app, and you can tap that. So I've got in here Edge, Firefox, Opera, DuckDuckGo is considered a browser, so they're there as well. Brave, Chrome, of course, and then Safari. So then you can change to either one of the defaults. And then now what happens is when you change the default on a browser, it's going to allow you to, when you click a link, let's say in an email that someone sends you, it's going to open up into that browser.
Yeah, it's not going to flip to Safari anymore.
So I'm pretty stoked. They did that for email as well, and you can change defaults, including Gmail's app. So you can make defaults for that too. So, those were a couple tips I thought we'd throw in there. And
I love the blocking, the ad blocking stuff, because I like the awareness of it. It puts it there
exactly
so that you can see, and it's not necessary. It's not because it's bad or anything like that necessarily. But it gives you the opportunity to be a little bit more aware, and by extension, a little bit more controlling of your data and who gets it and, you know, how much they get. And that's part of what I love about. That's why when we do Security Friday, that's the kind of stuff we talk about. Is
so this is
it's just
good
awareness
segue for you for tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's just, give you guys some info.
It's just the awareness and being, you know, understanding how much information is out there about your web surfing and your web habits everywhere.
And in fact, you talk about privacy too. Is I really love the fact that when you copy something from one place and then paste it into another, it tells you this was copied from your notes to Safari, or if you copy URL, this was copied from Safari, and it actually gives you a little notification. It's great.
It's so unobtrusive too. Like it just goes, you know, copied from message, like pasted from messages or whatever, you know, at the top, and it pops down for a second and then it goes away and it's done. And I really like that it gives you that piece. That I really like it.
So endless more tips, but we'll always bring those in future shows. And I think we're going to bring this to a close. We're already at that hour. I can't believe it. This just flew by. There's just so much to talk about. I could keep going, but I think people would probably stop listening after that. But we appreciate you listening. So so let's go ahead and wrap things up here. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter at intouchwithios. You can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. Better yet, just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where you can click any of the links to listen to us. They're there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me at DaveG65 on Twitter. And Kelly, as always, wonderful to have you on the show. Where can people find you?
Well, thanks so much for having me come by. It's a pleasure. I love getting to come by and talk to you. You can find me on Twitter as Verso. You can find me weekday mornings hosting the Daily Observations podcast over at macobserver.com. And you can occasionally find me over at the Incomparable Network, where I talk about different pop culture items, primarily Star Wars, but a lot of other things. And I have my own show over there about Westworld with Don Melton called Greetings from the Uncanny Valley. And I do a podcast with Mike Rose, if anybody misses the unofficial Apple weblog Talkcast. It's kind of Mike and I having the same sorts of conversations at aftershowpodcast.com.
Great. Well, thanks. Appreciate it. And we will be listening. And we appreciate everybody listening as well here. I hope you enjoyed the show. And we'll talk again soon.